Does your typical day look like this? Every chance you get, you scroll on your phone. Every time when you're waiting or coming across a problem you don't understand, you scroll on your phone. This isn't multitasking. This isn't to prove that you can do things simultaneously or that you can use time more efficiently. What you're doing is destroying the one thing that you have more valuable than time itself. Yes, I said it, more valuable than time. And that is your focus and your attention. Let me explain. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. Every time when you do this, you're not only getting hits of dopamine, you're also destroying your attention and your focus in the process. You're falling into a bottomless pit. You know that feeling when you start to scroll and you can't stop and the day has gone by and you start to feel guilty because you've wasted your time? Guess what? That feeling is literally your brain trying to tell you to do the right thing, despite you giving it constant dopamine. You feel like you're wasting time because you won't even remember 90% of the things that you scroll anyway. The reason you click on this video is because you want to stop infinite scrolling. But here's the thing. Scrolling in of it itself isn't necessarily bad. I mean, sure, you might scroll past recent news, events happening now, or useful tips and tricks here and there. The purpose of scrolling should only be to pass time. Same thing with video games. Video games were originally created to pass time, and scrolling shouldn't be any different. And before video games, people read newspapers to pass time. But they're not addicted to reading newspapers like how you are addicted to checking your phone. And I hate to say this, but sometimes it really isn't your fault. Because here's the scary thing. Every one of these social media apps are designed to make you addicted, to keep you scrolling for as long as possible so they can show you more ads and they make more money. So they're trying their absolute best, researching and implementing strategies behind the scenes to make it easier and more efficient for you to scroll. They do this by getting you emotionally attached. You scroll past someone doing something you don't like or something that pisses you off. Then you get all mad and type in a comment and you're like, oh, this person is so bad. I can't believe he did this. This person should be punished for what he's done. He's such an evil person. Oh man, I can't believe this thing is happening around the world. Oh man, I can't believe this. This is so terrible. Because we are evolutionarily wired to pay more attention to danger, to conflict, to bad news. And sometimes after you watch these negative news, you start taking sides and arguing with people that you don't even know, defending opinions from other people, because it activates your threat detection system. And your brain treats online drama as if it's real danger to keep you hyper-focused, even though you're not even involved. Or when you scroll past something tragic and you get all emotionally invested, feeling sympathy, and you're like, oh my god, I feel so bad for this person. How can this happen to them? And you can literally feel their sadness even though it has nothing to do with you. It's like breathing in secondhand smoke. Or when you're scrolling because you saw something funny, I mean, everyone likes a good laugh, right? But you want to recreate that happiness again by scrolling more and more. And you know what's the deadliest combination of all? Curiosity and comfort. They spike your mind with curiosity so you don't know what the next video is, so you're gonna keep scrolling to find out. And at the same time, you can scroll from the comfort of your couch or your bed. You're literally taking the spectator seat, judging everyone from a comfortable spot. You're spending your life watching other people live their lives. And most of that social media posts, travel photos, flashy fun lifestyles aren't even real in the first place. They're staged, they're fake, it's a green screen. There's a whole production team behind it. Whatever it is, they post them because they want your attention, your likes, your comment, because it gives them validation. This is their method. When TikTok became popular, the concept of infinite scrolling is now implemented on every major social media platforms. They're literally in competition with each other to see who can get the most amount of time and attention from you. And there are people out there who scroll TikTok, gets bored, scroll Instagram, gets bored, then scroll on YouTube, then realize they've wasted time, started doing something productive, then realize there's no instant gratification in it due to their low attention span, then hop on TikTok and repeat the cycle all over again. That's infinite scrolling. The problem with most people is that they scroll entirely way too much and way too often, to the point where they stop doing other important things. They start to procrastinate because in their mind they're thinking, I need 10 minutes to get ready, I need 30 minutes to go to the toilet, I need an hour for lunch, because their brain automatically takes into account the time that they're gonna spend scrolling. Scrolling slows your efficiency. Your brain is dragging out tasks because it takes into account the time that you're gonna spend scrolling. So nowadays, the most common excuse you hear from people when you ask them, why don't you go to the gym? Why don't you learn a new skill? Why don't you try this method if that didn't work? Their excuse is always, oh, I don't have time. Oh, I don't have time, I have to go to work, I have to do this thing after. But if you're being realistic with yourself, it isn't because you don't have time. It's because you lack focus and attention. You could be sitting at your laptop for hours doing work that should only take you 30 minutes because you're distracted. Your mind just couldn't handle being bored. Your mind needs constant entertainment, and that becomes your natural state. So it becomes much harder for you to do things that don't reward you right away. So how do we stop it? How do we put an end to infinite scrolling? Well, the first step is to realize how much time you spend scrolling. This is gonna be important because we often don't realize how much time has gone by. So the first step is to set a timer. Now, a lot of you might not do this because you might think it's too much work, but literally all you have to do is go to your phone's stopwatch, press start when you start to scroll, and press stop when you're done. And make sure you've developed the habit of going to your stopwatch first before you scroll, and press stop after you're done. What this does is that it makes you aware. And being aware is the first step because it identifies where your time has gone. I mean, sure, you can just go to settings and check your screen time, but that method is not gonna work because your settings screen time takes into account of everything you do on your phone, not just scrolling. And when you do this for a longer period of time, it gives a negative identity to scrolling, because it reminds you every time when you press start on that timer that this is where I start to waste time. And every time when you press stop, and you can visibly see that this is how much time I've wasted. Now, the second step is to understand your need for dopamine, aka your need to scroll on a day-to-day basis. Here's what I mean. According to your brain's award system and dopamine to pain balance, every day you have 2 imaginary cups to fill. One is for pleasure and the other one's for pain. You have to fill these 2 cups every day. What that means is everything you do in a day, your brain will automatically categorize them into one of these cups. And the reason for these 2 pleasure and pain cups is because your brain seeks balance. If your day consists of playing video games, scrolling on your phone, eating pizza, your brain will fill up the pleasure cup little by little each time. And at the end of the day, when your pleasure cup is full, everything you do will no longer be fun. It will just be plain and neutral. But here's what you missed. Your pain cup is still empty. You haven't done anything painful or uncomfortable to fill it up yet. So what does your brain do? Your brain will forcefully fill it up by hitting you with anxiety, with regret, and with depression over the things that you've done today because you've been comfortable. Now, in a different scenario, if your day consists of doing work, going to the gym, and learning new things, aka doing uncomfortable things, your brain will fill up your pain cup little by little. And at the end of the day, even though you haven't done anything fun intentionally, and because your brain seeks balance, it will forcefully fill up your pleasure cup with the feelings of accomplishment, gratitude, and confidence. So basically, you know that harsh, uncomfortable feeling, the internal dialogue, like, what am I doing with my life? I'm wasting my precious time after you wasted all day doing jack shit? Yeah. That's your brain trying to make up for the pleasure you've chased. And on the alternative, that feeling like, yes, I've gotten this done today. I've made progress towards this goal today. The satisfaction you felt at the end of the day, it's also your brain trying to make up for the pleasure you didn't chase. And this is exactly how good habits are formed. Because at the beginning of doing anything productive, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It feels boring, but the good thing, the magical thing about the human body is that it adapts. As long as you do it often enough, you'll get used to it. And once you become good at it, because you've done it so many times, you're gonna get good at it, then you'll start to like it because you can derive pleasure from it at the end. Your brain will balance out the pain by giving you pleasure in the form of accomplishment and real satisfaction knowing you've done what you're supposed to do. So a lot of people have this problem. They justify scrolling by saying that they're learning something new. They think that if they don't scroll, they'll miss out on opportunities, on trends, on news. They'll miss out on the fun stuff. Their day will be miserable. But that's not true. You will still be miserable at the end of the day if you spend all your day scrolling, because your brain will find ways to balance itself out. So I think it's safe to say that every ounce of pleasure you get comes with an ounce of pain. And you probably hear people say this a lot. They say, you'll suffer no matter which path you decided to take, and you can either have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And that's actually true. So the reason you want to stop infinite scrolling is because you want to get your attention and your focus back, because that's how you make efficient use of your time. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows that in order to be good at something, you have to practice and learn that thing over and over again. And that requires your attention and focus. But when you're scrolling thousands of content each day, it's like trying to do 1,000 things at once. You're spreading yourself thin and you won't remember any of it. So stop infinite scrolling. You don't have to give up on scrolling entirely, because that's not possible for the majority of the people anyway. You have to find ways to reduce scrolling. So how do we do that? Most people already have a reason. They want to stop because they have a goal they're working to achieve. Whether that be going to the gym, working on their business, or creating content. And scrolling is stealing their attention. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a new social media account. And from now on, you should only scroll on that account. And everything you watched should only be related to your goal. So let's say you want to get in shape. Then you should only watch gym content. If you want to start an online business, then everything you watched should only be how to make money online. If you want to create content, then you should only watch how to create better content. Doing this, the algorithm will recommend you content that's related to your goal. That way, scrolling isn't about seeking pleasure anymore. It's more like you're researching. You actually have control over it. Doing so, you won't feel like lying there and scrolling nonstop. Because every time you discover a method, a new exercise, a new business opportunity, a new content idea, you will want to try it and see if it works. That way, you're scrolling productively and you're learning from people who are doing the same thing as you, and it acts as a reminder towards your goal. This is how we can turn lemon into lemonade. Redirect your infinite scrolling habit to your goal. So let's break down the solution. Start a timer before you scroll and stop when you're done, knowing that you won't miss out on fun because your brain seeks balance. And develop a habit of filling that pain cup first and enjoy the reward later. Scroll with the intention of learning and applying the things you learn towards your goal. If you watch this video till the end, that means you found this video in the midst of brain rot content. And I really hope that this video actually helps you stop infinite scrolling.